If your sister pledged her life to an immortal satanic cult of half-wit goons, what would you do? In this How to Beat video, I'm gonna break down the mistakes Asia Reaves and the satanic cult made, what you should do, and how to beat Satan's pig in They Will Kill You. We start out following Asia Reaves and her sister, Maria Reaves, standing in the rain, staring at a mannequin family whose fake cheering accompanies the proverb, "When the poor give to the rich, the devil laughs." They're on the run from a man who just entered the store. The round-robin tactic would have worked had the kid not bagged the stolen item. He's got backup anyway. As they're chased out of the store, his buddy whips his car around in front of them. Cornered, Asia draws her .38 special revolver. The man says, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" Get shot. Quick, put a few extra safety shots in him before you can no longer claim your lives are in danger. A refreshing use of firearms to defend oneself. Apparently, this was their abusive father. The cops arrived seconds later, having been called by the store owner right when they got chased out with the stolen goods. Asia flees the scene. Maybe she's got a rap sheet, active warrants, and her firearm has its serial number filed off. She doesn't make it far. 10 years later, after getting caught and going to prison, she's applying for a maid position at a satanic high-rise in Manhattan for the wealthy elites. I say satanic because the sigil of Baphomet is promptly displayed at the head of the building, along with relief carvings depicting Dante and his guide Virgil walking amidst the 8th circle of Malabulg, where sinners are plagued by coiled serpents for their earthly crimes, and the 9th circle of Cossatus, which shows Lucifer trapped chest deep in a frozen lake. I'm guessing you're here because the Marriott would find out that you're a criminal and throw your application in the trash. Still, kinda makes you wonder. You're applying to be the lowest class worker on the totem pole at Lucifer's estate, a maid for the wealthy elites. Wealthy, and they chose to hire you. See the disconnect there? These Satanists could hire the Cheesecake Factory server equivalent of a maid, and they chose you, a nobody with no experience, no real resume, an ex-convict, and seemingly no ties to anyone or anything. Probably nothing. And Asia has been living off trash cake for a week, so f*** it. Roll the dice. Just don't complain when they string your ass upside down on the ceiling and bleed you out over their goat-themed orgy. The superintendent opens the door, requests ID, and then invites her inside. Asia can't even afford a bra for the interview. Things are not going well for her. But she forgot one thing. It can always get worse. Wow, you must be really concerned about bad people getting in. And the superintendent's like, yeah. The superintendent, Lily, explains, mementos from olden times. What times? Are you expecting General John Woo to come knocking? My first question would be, do I get a key card? The key card requirement to exit the building would appear to be a fire hazard, at minimum. If her answer is no, you can safely assume you're now a slave. Isabel, is also required to surrender her phone. For the residents' privacy, of course. She's introduced to some of the residents in the lounge. Miss Sharon, owner of Eternus, the fastest growing anti-aging cosmetics company. Dr. Sheepman and his wife Anne. The superintendent then takes her upstairs, where a little boy named Damien calls her a piggy. And the rest of the maids are getting ready for tonight's ceremony, where one maid will be rewarded for her dedication. She's then shown to her room after a bout of marital spite involving the superintendent and her husband Ray, who was just in Isabel's room. I don't know.
The pervert is back.
She hops in the shower. They Will Kill You appears on the mirror. Someone seems to be in her vents. When she goes out in the hallway, all the lights aggressively shut off. Out of the corner of her eye, she notices a figure pass by the far end of the hallway. Asia returns to her room and promptly shoves a chair under the doorknob and goes to sleep. While she's asleep, someone jiggles the knob in an attempt to enter her room. Having been thwarted by the chair, the infiltrator moves through the oversized vent to take a peek, before using the secret passageway behind the fridge to gain entry. Well, she's The hooded pigman begins licking her toes and loudly moaning. When she finally wakes up, nobody's there, only a drop of saliva on her cheek. Don't do it, don't do it. Ah, she did it! She ducked her head under the bed in search of the boogeyman. As I've said in previous videos, what are you gonna do if you find someone or something down there? Your head is just dangling off the side of the bed, ripe for the monster to wrap his fingers around the base of your skull, hook its thumbs around your orbital bone, and chew through your neck. Or get chloroformed by the pigman once you swing back up. Asia fights back, kicking off the walls until the pigman breaks his back over the table. Apparently, that also knocked him unconscious. How lucky. It's definitely a scientific fact that you can shove someone's back into a table and they will instantly go unconscious. Now, contrary to what movies tell you, chloroform does not knock someone out in seconds. It typically takes a few minutes at least of continuous deep inhalation to induce unconsciousness. But, as the movie does show, if someone inhales enough vapor and gets enough of that chemical in their bloodstream, it will continue to depress the central nervous system even after the rags are removed. So this can cause a delayed sedation. Asia passes out, and the rest of the goons show up. When she wakes up, she bites into a live electrical cord from the lamp that she pulled just before going unconscious, and jumps into the closet. So, a painful sensory shock cannot override the chemical block in the brain. Chloroform heavily depresses the central nervous system, turning off the brain's ability to process signals. So, instead of waking yourself up, you would just add devastating burns, severe muscle spasms, respiratory paralysis, and a high risk of fatal cardiac arrest. Worse yet, the electricity would cause your jaw to violently clamp down on the wire, making it impossible to let go voluntarily, which obviously would be very bad. Basically, eating an electrical cable would most likely fall into the counterproductive box. I know this is an earth-shattering PSA from Nerd Explains. She could have just as easily kicked her in the mouth and then run into the closet. The goons really screwed the goat on this one. All you guys had to do was put some fancy drug-laced drinks and snacks on the kitchen counter, gas her through the vents, all come in at once and physically restrain her together, hold her at gunpoint, or shoot her with a tranq gun. The last thing that you want is for your conscious victim to be cornered and afraid, because then they will fight you to the death. I get that Pigman Bob came in early to lick her toes before the ritual abduction, but you knew he would do that. One of the goons remarked that he habitually preempted the snatch and grab to have his way with the sacrificial lamb. Have someone guard him so he doesn't do it again. And for all the security that you have around here, bringing in unknown lowlifes off the street to clean up after you, you would think that the loss prevention officers would have checked her bag on entry. Bob wakes up. Sharon hands out the table legs, and the 5 goons attempt to wrangle Isabel out of the closet. I guess they turned this robbery into a murder. Just a shame she could only procure a double-barreled coach gun and had the misfortune of being attacked by 5 Satanists at once. Still, not sure why she wouldn't hold the coach gun closer to her chest, two-handed, and at least thin out another one before relying on her machete. Sticking her gun outstretched like that allows Sharon to kick it out of her hand, which sucks, because now you got 3 thugs attacking you with a loaded gun on the floor that any one of them could easily pick up and use on you without having to reload it first. Isabel does an excellent job of pushing out to one side and orienting herself so that the goons are lined up and only one of them can attack her at a time. She's got skill and tunes up Sharon and Bob pretty good, enough to buy her time to re-engage the goon who's going for the gun. Isabel survives the grounded pound long enough to scoot under the bed, deploy the mattress shield, pin them to the wall. I like how they showed the goons being on their heels on the rug, whereas Isabel was barefoot on the wood. giving her enough of a tractional advantage that it is plausible that she could overpower them both. Maybe not likely, but plausible. Isabel stops short of killing Sharon and steps back to take a breather. Easy to forget where the shotgun landed though. Wow, that was close, and very stupid of Sharon. It doesn't take a genius to note that the double-barrel shotgun, which was already fired once, has about one shell in it. And given that Isabel has f***ed all of you up and is clearly a much better fighter, it would behoove you to make that last shot count by actually stepping out and firing a well-aimed shot at her. I mean, how stupid can you be to get pinned behind a mattress and decide to just kinda shoot through it somewhere? Realistically, the shot pattern is only going to be inches in diameter at that range, so your likelihood of missing is pretty goddamn high. As for Isabel, I'd say she should have ripped the mattress down and gutted her with a quickness instead of stepping back. You know you didn't kill her because you only gutted one meat piñata. Sharon manages to survive the onslaught with only a broken nose and a knife up the keister. The surprising part is that Bob survived getting sawed up by a machete for like 10 seconds straight. She walks him down the hallway, where he perishes moments later. I sure hope she finished Sharon off back there. The superintendent announces her arrival by clapping, demanding to know who she is. I'll answer your question right after I kill you. I mean, she's clearly orchestrated all this. She has the keycard to leave the building, and she most likely has a means of alerting the guards. Get to it, chop her up. Well, this is as good a time for exposition as any. Isabel tells her that her abusive father lived, somehow regained custody of his daughter Maria, whom Isabel was trying to protect, and that she got caught and went to prison, where naturally she learned all her combat fighting skills in the shower room. Feeling lucky now? Legality-wise, she may have been justified in the shooting, considering her sister could vouch for the abuse and bodily harm their father supposedly posed. Though her past rap sheet, her decision to run, and the possibility that she was carrying a felony gun with its serial number filed off, which, again, I'm just assuming based on the circumstances, could still land her in serious trouble, especially if her father was unarmed and the store owner was telling police that they were thieves. All this to say, she's been looking to rescue her sister ever since. The PI that she hired while locked up tracked her to this building, the Virgil. Guess it wasn't a robbery after all. It was a search, rescue, and destroy. The PI tells her the place has a sketchy rep and that some of the people that they hire go missing. Mostly minorities, illegals, and people off the street. Cops don't look too hard, especially when the rich are involved. He says, I talked to some of the cleaning ladies who knew Maria, and a few days ago, one of them got a call from that building manager, Lily. She offered her a gig as a maid to start next month. Her name was Isabel Davison. Besides looking like a complete creep, this guy's pretty good at his job. Asia reveals her true identity and motive: rescue or revenge. Lily fires back that while she would love to help, they've made a deal with the devil, and the devil needs his due. Oh, should have brought more ammo. Speaking of, I would not have left that room without the double barrel topped off and the bandolier full of shells slung over my shoulder. These Satanists may heal, but it's gonna take them time. Enough time to jack Lily's keycard. If you chop people up in the future, which you will, you're gonna have to dismember them and distribute the parts to make it more difficult and time consuming for everybody to play Mr. Potato Head. Or, I know it's gruesome, but you have no choice. Cut out their eyes and put them in your pocket. Seemingly, they need their original body parts to fuse back together. I don't know, maybe not, but it is worth trying. Asia locks herself in Damien's room, deals with his punk and tries to find a way to escape. The windows are made of riot glass, some type of polycarbonate. The vents are screwed on tight, and there's no secret tunnel behind the fridge. It's only through sheer luck that she finds a trapdoor leading into a vast crawl space tunnel network, which she's able to pry her way into. Chased by Sharon, she stabs her, then blows her head off.
Sick of you killing me!
Sharon's headless corpse keeps chasing her. Ray grabs Asia and pulls her into a dark nook. He inquires as to whether she got his message, the one he left on the bathroom mirror. The finger writing on the steamed up mirror, the one that disappeared due to steam? Bro, all you had to do was leave a note under her sheets. Dumb. He goes on to say that this building is a temple for Satan. Gee, you don't say. The Satanists made a deal. Immortality at the cost of human sacrifices.
Good deal.
Apparently there is a list held somewhere. If your name is removed, you lose your immortality. Ray seems to know quite a lot, so any idea where this list is? I say we burn it up and then kill everybody. Sounds like the plan. Oh yeah, and save Maria, of course. Sharon's eyeball catches all this and rolls after them. Asia and Ray have a conversation about how she blew Sharon's head off. And he says, well, she'll just grow it back. They always come back. Well, what if I chop them into 1,000 pieces and set them on fire? And he says, well, even if there's one piece left, even a slice of skin will still keep living on its own. My next question would be whether you can burn them down to ashes. Problem is, that's practically impossible to accomplish with the 6 of them, plus all the guards and servants who were also added to the immortality wrist, all hunting your down. And even then, they made a deal with the devil. They'll probably come back from the ashes too. Asia and Ray passed the love shack, and what do you know? Our guide took us right to our sister. Well, that was easy. You know, if they hadn't tried to sacrifice you on night 1, this escape op would have been so much easier. Oh my god. It's a happy family reunion.
I don't need you. You. No. You. No. You.
Ray tells her that there's no way out of the building. It is a sealed death trap, except for the fire escape ladder on the roof. But you have to go through the 9th floor to get there, and that is the last place that you want to be. In Dante's Inferno, the 9th and final circle of hell is a vast freezing lake of ice called the Caucasus. It's reserved for treachery and betrayal, holding notorious figures like Judas Iscariot, Brutus, and Cassius, along the imprisoned demon Satan. If there is any correlation to this building, he would be correct. If only Asia had taken a single moment during their trip through the building to check for a tail, or in this case, an eye, their little plan wouldn't have been found out. Now Sharon knows, and she'll eventually tell the others when she grows her mouth back. Satan, you think you could speed the process up a bit? I mean, I know Sharon took a 12 gauge to the head, and I'm sure that she's thankful for the immortality and all. But maybe if we sourced an extra sacrifice here and there, you could tune down the repair time. I guess she doesn't need her head. Using precise hand signals, she's able to convey to Kevin that Isabel is on the floor. You have to be getting tired of that. Ray holds them back as Asia carries Maria into the dumbwaiter, and they escape into the kitchen, knocking a pan over. Oops, not that it mattered. They knew exactly where you were headed anyway. She's pulled out of hiding by Bob. I guess that shotgun was out of ammo, because why else would you leave it outside? Still could have grabbed the fire axe and waited by the door to bury it in his skull, like your sister does to Bob. Then you wouldn't have gotten whacked in the face multiple times. They know you're here. They know you're likely hiding in one of the few places that there are to hide. So there's no point. Superintendent Lilly goes on the intercom, announcing to all the immortals that their sacrificial lamb is loose and needs to be captured alive before tonight's ceremony. Or else. When Asia wakes up, she sees Maria tying up Bob while telling her to get to the elevator shaft while she holds them off. She can't watch her die and all. Look sis, the second they suspect you aided in Asia's escape, your name's coming off the list and you're getting sacrificed, so you might as well lead the way. Naturally, Maria is immediately held hostage, forcing Asia to kill literally everybody with a fire axe. No, like, actually an axe that's on fire. The fire axe.
Give up!
Oh, so the shotgun did have ammo. Well, why didn't you shoot Bob in the kitchen with it earlier?
You stupid.
As I've said before, your heroes will die tired. Asia wouldn't even be able to stand after swinging that axe as much as she did. especially after all the fighting she's already done.
T, come out. I'm burning.
Like I was saying, you want to lead us out of here, sis? Or do you want to stay? Lily and her goons narrowly miss Asia and Maria sneaking into the elevator shaft, which somehow does not occur to them as an option that she might have taken. I mean, they both had to have been on this side of the door in order to seal the dining room with the fire axe. So they had to have taken the elevator shaft, which Sharon should have told them was the plan in order to get up to the 9th floor and descend the fire ladder to escape. Asia's plan is known and obvious. If the only way out is through the fire ladder, then go there, post guards, a lot of them, and begin searching outward from Asia's destination. She will have to run into you to get there. And again, why did none of you have a tranquilizer gun to subdue sacrifices? That would make this a lot easier. Asia and Maria have a well-timed, very important heart-to-heart session while rebandaging their wounds. Totally worth delaying your escape while 100 Satanists hunt you down to sacrifice you to the devil. Really had to get a fresh bandage on your hand. I mean, I could tell it was slowing you down in the dining room fight. Because of this, Big Bob is hot on their tail. It's a coach gun. You should have waited until he got within grabbing range or just kept climbing. You both are certainly faster than this fat. There's no need to waste the shells. What would appear to be your last shells, which I would think that you would want to save for the 9th circle of hell. Thankfully, another goon opens the door next to them in time to be pulled in and thrown down on top of Bob. And the top floor is full of basically everybody waiting for her. Nice, they finally figured out that they can simply camp the single exit until these two, screwed and hosed, walk right into their trap. You will pledge to our Lord when the time comes. You will put your name on the list. Then you seal the deal with blood. You kill your sacrifice. One death for one life. A small price for immortality. But if you break your word, run away, or don't find an offering, our Lord will take you. It's now that we come to the shocking realization that Maria made the deal too, and Isabel Davidson was supposed to be her sacrifice to the devil. It was either Maria or Isabel, and Maria chose Isabel. And now, without a sacrifice tonight, Maria will be claimed. So it's either Maria or Asia at this point, but more like probably both. This brings up another part. If the sacrifice is selected by Maria for the deal with the devil, maybe it would have been a good idea to have Maria present at the arrival and introduction to confirm the person. And why in the hell did all of you bank your immortality and deal with said devil on a maid showing up for the interview the night of the sacrifice? I've worked in related businesses to the maid business long enough to know I wouldn't dare depend my life on a random cheap maid showing up for an interview at night. It wasn't even an interview. A woman just showed up and they were like, okay, you start tomorrow. What? Guys. You can afford to feed and sustain this woman for a week, so you should have bagged her a week ago to ensure that you had a victim ready. An unmarked sliding van full of guys drive up, confirm the target victim, pull up on her while opening and sliding the door next to Isabel while she's walking to her next job, throw a hood and earmuffs on her, toss her in, search for a phone or device that can be tracked, ditch it, gone in 10 seconds, chain her up until the sacrifice is due, and you're good. That's what I would do if I was in a satanic cult that made a blood pact with the devil. Just saying. Lily shanks Asia, inputs the code 666, and enters the devil's lair. What the heck? It's just a stupid pig head.
The unclean spirit entered the swine.
Well, this isn't good. One of Lily's subordinates opens his dumb fat mouth and says, "We also brought you Ray and Maria, my lord. They both have betrayed us." Great. Now Pig Satan is demanding that Lily either kill her husband Ray or be sacrificed herself. Can we just negotiate with Asia and Maria's lives first, dumb? Bro, I guarantee your name's coming off the list. Next up is Maria, who begs the Dark Lord to give her another chance. the Dark Lord instructs her to seal the deal, to write her name on the pig's head and sacrifice her sister. Maria walks up, pencils in what I'm guessing is Asia's name, then shoves the machete into her own neck, knowing that Asia has the combat skill and motivation to kill everybody here, especially if she's immortal. Maria has no time to begin erasing other people's names, because the ploy would be exposed before Asia returned to full strength. They'd just erase both of their names and kill them. So, to make the ploy convincing, and to give Asia enough time to heal her grievous wounds, Maria kind of has to sacrifice herself, unfortunately. The play makes sense. Now, it's yet to be determined, but theoretically, if Asia can incapacitate everybody, remove their names from the list, add her sister's name back, and seal the new blood deal with all the now mortals' lives, both of them could potentially survive this. You could say that Maria could have written both of their names down, but the problem is that the deal requires a life for a life. I'm guessing if you put your name on the pig's head and you're past due, you're gonna get dragged to hell. So this wouldn't work out too well. For the reasons stated above, access to the pig head list is quite powerful. Realistically, you'd want a far more secure code than 666. I'd imagine that, with immortality, all these residents get on each other's nerves and potentially seek to remove each other's names from the list. I mean, Asia got to this level and this room just by climbing the elevator shaft. It is far too accessible. It's also hella risky to let one of your victim prisoners stand at the pig's head with a pencil and eraser next to your names. Couldn't Lily just write Maria's name down for her? Seeing Maria sacrifice herself, you can logically deduce that it wasn't her own name that she wrote on the list. It was Asia's, which means you should immediately remove the weapon from Asia's presence, bury it in her skull, and remove her name from the pig head. For some crazy reason, this thought does not enter their minds at all. Asia wakes up, grabs the meat cleaver, chops off a slice of the pig head with her name on it, and stuffs it into her pocket. Clever. Now neither the pig nor anybody else can remove her name from the list. Asia pretty much destroys everybody, as usual, until the final boss shows up. Lily dons the pig head, infusing its meat tentacles deep into her flesh, allowing the devil to work her body like a meat puppet. Devil's got some Yoda-level fighting skills. Well, you know Asia eventually gets the one-up, hooking its snout, kick-flipping off the wall over her while yanking the pig head off Lily, and then using the pig head like a mace. Asia demands her sister back in exchange for all the goons' lives. She douses the pig head in gas, ignites her Zippo, and torches all the names on the list. I've got one piece of bad news for you, Satan.
I'm a smoker.
I was a bit concerned that Asia would need to be able to write Maria's name on the pig head, but I guess she does still have that slice with her own name on it. She could use that to squeeze Maria's name in too. The Satanists burn Kevin Sullivan, Sharon Vanderbilt, Bob Thorne, Lily Woodhouse. Asia sends the flaming pig head on a cart down the hall and into the elevator shaft. All the other residents clear out, not wanting that smoke. Asia exits using Lily's keycard, holding Maria in her arms, and hops into her PI sedan. Apparently, in order to save Maria's life, Asia changed her name to Maria's. What the f***? You idiot! You literally could have written her name next to yours. Oh my good God. The movie ends. Ultimately, had Maria not stolen those gas station chocolates in the beginning, the theft alarm would not have gone off. Their abusive father would not have caught them. Asia would not have had to shoot him, and none of this would have happened. For that reason, I'd say Satan's pig, and they will kill you, was beaten. Well, I guess they would still be sacrificing people, but at least we could live out our lives in heavenly ignorance. Moral of the story, if the deal sounds too good to be true, it is.